All right. Well, thanks for everyone for joining us tonight. We've got some people coming in still, I know, because several people have additionally told me today that they were definitely planning on coming, inviting their teams to it and all. This is Team Life Changers page, Bob Spinner and Heidi Spinner. I'm going to be your host tonight. Heidi wasn't able to make it, but we have asked Brooke and Ansley, the sister duo, the dynamic sister duo, from, I'll let them tell a little bit more about who they are and where they live and all that sort of thing, because that gets a little confusing. And I barely know them myself. I was fortunate enough just before convention to hear you guys. And they just did a fantastic job, and I really enjoyed hearing what they had to say. And they've been doing this like a couple of days now, and they're Ruby and Senior Ruby. They'll give you the exact tallies on that, but I was talking to Brooke a little bit, and she still didn't know where her back office was. That's how new she was. I mean, we have a back office? What are you doing? Those kind of questions. So it was cool because I got to train her a little bit, and now she's going to teach me how in the world am I going to add some level 1 people. And so without any further ado, Brooke and Ansley.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go first since I'm kind of the one that kind of brought Plexus into our family. So we are excited. We love doing things together. It's not very often that we get to be together, and I want to explain that. My husband is in the U.S. military. He's Air Force, and we're stationed in England currently. So I'm going to preface this with, if you think that you are in a place where it is saturated or you can't do this, you are so wrong, because I can do it, and I'm in a place where they don't even ship to. So I try to use that as some encouragement to people that feel like they're in a difficult location, because we can only ship APO in England. So if you are not military, I cannot share Plexus with you unless you are in the United States. So that's kind of who I am. I have 2 little girls, a almost 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I started Plexus after watching a friend of mine for 10 years. Yeah, she's been my friend for 10 years. I didn't watch her for 10 years. I watched her for a year. She has some disorders that were rough, that were causing her to be in the hospital off and on. And it was hard to watch that. And then I saw her getting healthy. She had told me about Plexus. I rolled my eyes. I was that girl that wanted to block her on Facebook because she had so many Facebook posts about Plexus. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't want your pink stuff. And one day she posted, does anybody want a pink drink sample? And I noticed that nobody was commenting. You know how many Plexus posts that you have up that you get crickets on? And I noticed that nobody had said anything. And so I tell her, I tease her out of pity. I said, please send me a sample, but I'm also a frugal mama and I like anything free. So I was like, sure, I'll try that. And she sent me a 7-day trial instead of a single sample. And I think she just knew that I needed it in my life. I knew that, and that's my upline, Rhonda Hensel. I knew that she knew my financial situation and my health situation, and that these products could change my life. And so I think she took a chance on me, and I'm so grateful that she did. I tried that 7-day trial of the pink drink and fell in love. My husband and I went on YouTube immediately and the internet and tried to find anything that we could dig up about Plexus, and just couldn't find anything. Just kept finding these amazing stories from people. And so asked him, he just told me, Ansley, if this can do one of these things, we should try it. And so that's kind of where we started. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was passing the iPad to my kids. I was sad all the time. I was struggling with my weight. Believe it or not, I have proof. I have pictures. I'm a bit much heavier than I am now, a long time ago. And so I was in the gym and eating and counting every morsel that went into my mouth, but I could not get rid of the mental part of that food addiction and the binge eating. And it just made me miserable because it was just always this cycle. And anyways, I have a couple of other things. I have some disorders and stuff, but this was my wake-up call. This was something that was amazing for us, and I immediately felt good. And so I decided I was going to share it on Facebook because we didn't have the money. And in order to continue the products, and I wanted to make a financial impact on my family, but I had no desire to sell Plexus whatsoever. But I knew that I didn't want my husband to continue to have to pour that out of his paycheck. And so it was important to me that I at least found 3 people to cover my product. And I got crickets, but there's a private world of Facebook messaging that's amazing that continued to fill up. And that's kind of where my story starts. So my story, I'm Brooke, by the way. My story, let's see, her story started in October. And so I've been doing this, actually didn't get my products till November. So I've been doing this right around 8 months, and Senior Ruby in 7. I joined Plexus January 23rd, reluctantly, after about almost 4 months of fence sitting with her, watching her get healthy. And, if you have people in your life that are hating on you, that are hating on this process, I promise you that secretly they are coveting your life. They're coveting your freedom. They're coveting your health change. Sorry, it makes me kind of emotional. They want that, and they're just scared. I was scared. I was scared of letting go of, those vices that I had. I was afraid of what it would look like if I failed, what it would look like if I succeeded. I think all those things. And so I pushed her away for a long time. And it got to the point where everything I was praying for was right in front of me. And God just kept pushing it and pushing it. And finally, I had a friend, my friend Shannon, come over and say, let's do this. Let's try it. And that's what it took. So never give up on anyone. That's a big piece of this. Never give up on anyone in your life that you think needs this. I needed it so badly. Not only did I need the products, I was suffering from a lot of mood instability after my 3rd baby was born, binge eating, closet eating, every kind of eating you could think of. I was exhausted and miserable. And I had also just recently been laid off from my nursing job, and just was really going through a big identity crisis. I'd always been a nurse for 10 years, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. And I wanted to be home with my kids desperately, but I just didn't know how to make that possible. So my husband and I have always done everything on 2 incomes. So this was kind of an answer prayer on all fronts. And so I just say, be persistent with people. They deserve it and they need it. And so anyway, so finally I jumped in with my friend Shannon. So I will tell you, I did join with a runner. So those of you that think that this just happened as overnight success, I did join with a runner. We've worked very, very hard to build our team. But I will say that I jumped in head first, feet first, whatever you want to call it. I was decided that we couldn't afford the products. If I was going to do this, I was going to be all in. And I already knew they worked. I had seen them work with her. And my other sister was on the products as well. I had seen them work with her as well. So, I just wanted to be less tired. Honestly, that's all I care. If that worked, that's all I really care about. I tease all the time. We use our stories all the time because she was literally, she was working an overnight nursing job. And so I live in England. So when she was waking up, I was in the middle of my day. And so she would call me on the ride home to keep herself awake. She'd say, can you just talk to me so I don't fall asleep on the road? And then she'd pull over at Starbucks and she hates coffee. And so I kept saying, why on earth are you going to Starbucks when you hate coffee? Try this pink drink. She's like, I can't afford it. I said, put that money that you were spending on Starbucks every day in a jar and let's start this.
So that's literally what I did. I told my husband I would give up my Starbucks for 30 days. And I would give up eating out at least once a week for 30 days, and that would cover it. And meanwhile, I posted my first Facebook post before my products ever came in. So those of you who are asking yourself, okay, how do you get this started from the get-go? The sooner you can get people to post that first Facebook post and start reaching out to people, the better. I didn't wait, and I had 3 to 4. I joined on the 23rd. I had 3 to 4 customers before the end of the month. My goal was to hit 500 PV to increase. I didn't even know what that meant by the time, honestly, but I knew that it increased my amount I was going to get back. And so that was my goal. I hit like 610 in that first week, and I made close to $300. And that's when I went, click, I get it. And I thought, okay, well, what if I really try? So for the next 30 days, I turned that $300 into $1,600. And I just worked. I just put my head down and I just talked to everybody I knew, and I just worked. So we'll talk a little bit about, Bob asked us, we've done another call. If you're curious about some more details, you can watch that one. This one, we're going to focus on recruiting because he asked us kind of that to make that our focus. So
I'm going to start with the differences of us. I want you guys to understand that we don't think that we've done anything different than what you've been taught. But there's a couple of things that we notice that are different from maybe somebody that's growing really quickly and somebody that's a little bit more stagnant. And the big things that I can tell you is that we work these jobs as full-time jobs. We are not, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I work Plexus full-time in every second of the day that I can, that I'm not spending with my kids or my husband. I am working this hard. We both have runners. Shannon joined with Brooke right away, and that was her runner. And I got my runner at about 3.5 months, who was my sister. So that is another part of this. So if you are
she was silver, almost halfway to gold when I joined her team. And in that 4 months went from silver to senior ruby. So if you're sitting there going, it's never going to happen, it's never going to happen, it takes one person, really, that's running with the business. I also kind of left out, just so you know, I'm not sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I have 3 children. I have a 5.5-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, and an 8-month-old. I also homeschool full time, and I work an overnight job. So I'm pretty busy. I don't just sit around and do nothing. I do have a lot on my plate. So I want to preface with that because I hear a lot, way too often, I don't have time.
I watched or read a video or a Facebook post from Bridget Ryan today, and it hit me really hard. She said she was super busy, but she always made Plexus a priority. And that's the part we're in right now. If you went to convention, you know that, was in blank of her name. No. Bob, help me out. Who spoke at Plexus Convention?
Which one? A lot of people.
Just a couple of people. You want to narrow that down a little bit?
The older lady. Why can I not think of her name?
Oh my gosh! Now did you say that? Of course. Oh, bless your heart, darling. Why can't you think of her name? Jolene.
No.
No, not the lady that did Jolene's story.
Anyways,
yes, Jolene. Yes.
So she just said, if you do what you don't want to do for a little while so that you can do what you want to do forever. And that resonated with me because I have people that criticize me that say, well, you're giving up a lot of time with your babies while they're little and all sorts of things. And I just say,
you're on your phone too much.
But guess what? If I put aside that time for the next year to 2 years, the rest of their life, their daddy's going to be home with them and their mommy's going to be home with them. And we're going to be able to spend this quality time together. I'm never going to have to worry if my husband has to deploy. I'm never going to have to worry if we're going to move to another country again, those kind of things. And those are major things in my life. And so I really believe if I can just put my head down and work for a little while, it will be, it'll be amazing.
So those are kind of the big things that we just wanted you guys to know, because I don't want anyone, first of all, I want everyone to know that they can do this. And second of all, I don't want anyone to think that this just was some magic fluke or that it's the right people and this and that. There is some of that. Having a network, having people trust you, having passion in this business is huge. But I really believe that if you just put your head down and work, and you just don't focus on anything else around you, I think this can happen for anybody.
I had taken a year off of Facebook before I joined Plexus. So I had 50 people on my Facebook when I started this. So that's not an excuse that I don't know people. So
and she's in a different country.
Mm-hmm. So who should you contact first? That's kind of going to be where we're going to start. You need to create a hundreds list or a Franks list. I did not do this for like 4 or 5 months of my business.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yes. And I will tell you, I recently did this and I just pulled up my Facebook. I separated everybody that I'd contacted and I wrote down every single person that I hadn't contacted yet. And it was so easy for me to get outside of my head and say, because I would scroll through my Facebook and go,
oh, I want to talk
I'll try that one. I'll try that one. And this was easy for me to be able to say, okay, today I'm going to contact the first 5 people. Bam, 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 bam. And get it done. Close my eyes and send those messages because it is intimidating, but you just have to do it. And so for me, the hundreds list has made a big difference for me in my time management because I'm not thinking about it for 15 minutes before I start it.
We'll talk a little bit later about how to manage your time a little bit.
And then, go through your Facebook list and go through your cell phone list and contact all of your close friends and family. I encourage you, if you're new to this and you can think of 3 people off the top of your head that need this or would want this, contact them and just say, hey, I really want to do this. Will you do it with me? Let's do this together. You'll be surprised who will say yes. What if your friends don't join you?
So we're a great example of that. I will tell you that when I first started this, I had about 5 people that I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be great for them. And I don't think any of those people are on my team. But I have all these people I didn't expect that are on my team and doing amazing. It's the people that I probably expected to jump in with me first that didn't, and I hear that from people a lot. Our entire family is on Plexus now, down to our 79-year-old grandfather, but they were all reluctant. None of them said yes right away. It took something to push them over the edge. But the people that barely know me or know me kind of from a distance and just really need this have said yes. So I would say just be persistent. Don't give up on anyone. I hear stories all the time. We haven't been in the business long enough to see this yet, but I hear stories all the time of people saying somebody joined them at 2 years, 3 years, down the road. I have seen people come out of the woodwork that I didn't expect at all. And even tonight, my sister-in-law, who I love dearly, and I always wanted her in the business with me, and I knew she would tell me she doesn't have time. And so I didn't even reach out to her, y'all. She reached out to me last month, so month 4, and said, I really want to try the products. And tonight reached out to me and said, okay, I want the business. So you just never know. And I think that I'm learning that along the way. Like I said, do as we say, not as we do. Do not be fearful about who to reach out to. Reach out to every single person. Let them have the opportunity to turn you down instead of you having a preconceived notion that they're not interested. So if your friends or family turn you down, keep pushing on. The other thing, we talked about this the other night on one of our team calls, is if you're afraid, if you have somebody like you're afraid to talk to them about it, think about this. Wouldn't you rather know where they stand? Isn't it better? We all hate the crickets, right? That's the worst, is like to not hear anything. Wouldn't you rather have someone tell you, I'm just not interested, or yes, one way or the other, than to not know at all? Because every time you walk into that room by that person, you're going to wonder, would they try it? Would they try it? What are they going to say if I ask them? Just ask them, because then they can give you yes or no, or maybe, or nothing, but at least you've taken that chance and you kind of know where they stand.
The other part of that is if you don't share it, somebody else will. And Brooke's a prime example of that. When she joined Plexus with me, and I had been begging her for 3.5 months, she joined on and she reached out to 5 or 6 people. And half of those people said, I'm already on Plexus, or I'm an ambassador. And she's like, you had this gold in your hands and you didn't share it with me. And guess what? I got a runner. And she could have been somebody else's. And so if you don't ask, somebody else will. And you never know who is that little piece of gold in your backyard that you're digging for.
I had a really good friend who's been on the products for 2 years, and she's never, ever mentioned it. So that's a good place, good thing to remember. Okay. What do you say when someone asks you about Plexus? So you've sent out that cold message, or you've seen someone in the hallway somewhere and they ask you about Plexus. You need to have a little tiny spiel that you kind of have memorized, that you're confident in. It's like, that old elementary school or high school public speaking class where you stand in front of the mirror and you kind of practice it so that you're comfortable with it. Have that little elevator speech. Make it short and sweet. I had to work on this, y'all. My biggest, as you can tell, I'm a talker. My biggest struggle was vomiting Plexus on people because I was so excited. I wanted them to know everything. And being a nurse, I'm really into the science behind it. So I wanted to tell everybody about everything they could possibly want to know about gut health. And half the time, they didn't want to know any of that.
So how about we do a little role thing?
Sure.
Okay. So I am going to be the person that has no clue what Plexus is, but I just seen it all over her Facebook. What is that pink thing that you've been posting about?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked me. It has completely changed my life. So have you ever been tired or exhausted after you eat and you just want to go home and take a nap?
Never.
Well, I know you have, so that's a lie. But honestly, what happens is your blood sugar is completely imbalanced, even if you don't know it. I've never been diagnosed with any blood sugar issues, but I realized really quickly after starting Plexus that my blood sugar was out of whack. Once I regulated that, I've seen amazing changes in my energy level, in my cravings. You should really try it. Would you like to try a sample? I have one in my car.
Yeah, I think so. How about weight loss? Can it help with weight loss?
Oh my gosh, Plexus has some really amazing results of weight loss. Obviously, it's a tool. We want to use that with a good diet and exercise program, but I really have seen great things. I saw inches drop off really quickly, and I'm starting to slowly see myself losing pounds. There's a lot of really great ingredients in there that actually help you burn fat while maintaining muscle. I can get you some information. Would you look it over if I send it to you?
Sure.
Great. Okay. Give me your cell phone number and I'm going to text you some information and I'll get you in contact, and let me grab that sample for you. So just have something in your mind. Okay. And y'all, I'm a talker. So if you're not a talker, it's okay if you don't sound like that.
I would kind of say, I kind of usually say it a little bit differently. I've heard so many different things. I just recently heard somebody say what you said, which is, you haven't heard about Plexus? Oh my gosh, it's the next big thing. And, you talk about it that way. I have kind of been the opposite, where I've always said, Plexus is, somebody asked me, what do I do? And I said, well, I work for Plexus. And they usually say, what is Plexus? And I said, well, Plexus is a health and wellness company. And I usually start out pretty simple. Plexus helps to balance blood sugar, cholesterol, lipids, and gut health. And then, and then I talk
natural
about
ingredients, plant and mineral based ingredients. Yeah, she didn't ask me specifically
guarantee.
What is Plexus? And so, but if someone asks you that, think about that 1 or 2 line sentences. And here's the biggest kicker of that conversation. You need to have the ball in your court. If I give you a sample, would you try it? People almost always say yes. And then I need to get their information. I need to have some way to contact them about that sample. I heard a really good tip recently. Everybody carries around business cards, right? I heard a really good tip. Take a picture of your business card and text them that picture. You then have their phone number to respond to them. I had never thought of that, but I thought, I've given out 1 million samples of my business card and never heard anything.
And I like to ask them if I can add them to my Facebook, because here's the thing.
Always.
Even if they don't ever contact you about Plexus, guess what? They're on your Facebook and they're going to see it every single day. And it takes, sometimes 8 to 10 times for somebody to see something before they decide that they're going to take a chance on it. And it gives you an easy contact that you can go in and message, and you don't feel like, oh, I'm calling them on the phone, or I'm sending them an email that they're not reading. I love Facebook because I can see exactly when they read it. And that is kind of the kicker for me.
So the point of that whole little spiel is, just make sure that you're intentional about what you're going to say. Practice that. Be comfortable and confident in that. Know that what you have in your hands is gold, and that you have no fear when they ask you, what are you doing? It's the most exciting thing they've ever heard all day. Okay.
And please hear us when we say, although we are very, talkative and we're outgoing,
bold personalities.
Neither one of us are comfortable selling anything. I do not like my friends to think that I'm making a profit off of them. But here's the deal. I have something that has changed my life. And if I don't share it with them, they may never feel what I feel. And that is so important to me. And so when you're wondering, should I share this with somebody? Why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you be so upset if somebody held back for a year and didn't show this to you? Because I know, I wish, that's my only regret, is that I watched my friend for an entire year and she just got her free Plexus Lexus, and I could have been there already. I could have already had this. I could have been not spent the last, 2 years of my life being exhausted all the time with my 2 babies. So, just please don't be afraid to talk to people. If they say no, they say no. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the product or the time right now. Okay. So mine was going to be branching outside of the box. So you tell me you've gone through everybody on your Facebook. Where do you talk to people next? Every single place you go to. Okay. And I think about when I'm in the line with somebody, or I'm listening to conversations, I'm always looking for, where can I interject Plexus?
Talk about the restaurant, the waitress.
Oh, the waitress. Okay. So
good story.
So we live in a small military community, and we have one steakhouse on our base. And my husband and I no longer can each order a meal. We have to share food because Plexus has really changed our appetite. And so we share a meal, and every time I go in, I get a dirty look from the waitress because she asks us what we're going to order, and we order one meal, and they're like, what? One meal? And so I always say, have you ever heard of Plexus? Because they always ask me, why would you only order one meal? Really, one meal is going to feed you and your husband? And it's true. I mean, my husband's not a small guy. So we definitely...
It's a good opportunity, though. It's one of those opportunities that when you have those opportunities, it doesn't come across salesy because you're literally like answering a question they already have.
I'm going to give you 2 more. These are kind of fall in your lap opportunities.
But they're everywhere.
But they're everywhere. So I just went to the grocery store a few days ago, H-E-B, okay? And I was checking out, and the guy that was checking us out said, hey, do you like smoothies? And I was like, yeah, of course I like smoothies. Well, what flavor? I said, well, I like berry flavor. And he said, okay. And I said, well, why do you ask me that? And I always try to figure out what people are thinking. So, and create conversation because we're relationship marketing.
Yes.
So I said, why? And he said, well, I just like to get people's opinions. And then he paused and said, I've always wanted to get into the business side of the world. I think someday I'm going to own my own business.
Boom.
So I said, and you always have to be prepared. Yes. I whipped out my business card and said, Alex, will you contact me this week? I work for an amazing company. They pay us 11 ways. And in 7 months, I'm 1 rank away from earning a free Plexus Lexus and a trip to Hawaii. I would love to have you on my team. And, I think I asked him, do you like health and wellness? And he said, yes. And so I talked to him about it. That's a really great thing. He's called me now 3 times and we're working hard on getting him on our team. So the second scenario was we went to the swimming pool. Y'all, I know no one here, okay? Nobody. I know my family and that's it. So
but we're at the pool with our kids and we go like opposite directions. I'm going to talk to this mom. She's going to talk to this mom. Like we're intentional about making those relationships, making those conversations.
So this girl, she's swimming around. She's got a little girl about my age. And so I comment about her bathing suit, her little girl's bathing suit, how cute it is. And she messages or talks to me back. And then I don't know how we got on the topic, but I said, I live in England. She said, oh, well, my husband is Scottish, I think she said. And so we started talking a little bit about that. And I said, how'd you get here? And I said, well, what do you do for a living? Or what do you work? I think I asked her because I know she's here on a weekday with her kid. Okay. And so I knew that she was probably a stay-at-home mom. And she said, well, I work only on the weekends when I don't have my daughter, but I really I'm looking right now for a stay-at-home business opportunity. Hello. Like if I did not talk to her, then I would not have that opportunity. Okay. So you've got to be intentional and you've got to be opening your mouth and not being afraid to talk to people.
And I will say we're Christians. We're strong believers that God opens those opportunities, those doors. We pray everywhere we go. Every day when I wake up, I pray for God to bring me the sick, the broken, the needy, and the people that need this business opportunity, every single one of them. And the door is often opened for me. But if you are not, and I want to also say, we're not like looking to scam somebody. Like, I feel like it's going to come across as like, we're looking to, just rank up, and not at all. But we have learned very quickly that if you aren't intentional, like when I first started, I looked for every opportunity to either add someone to my Facebook page or create an opportunity to bring up Plexus.
And guess what else I learned about that girl? She has celiac disease. She's had her gallbladder removed. She's in pain. She's underweight. She's got all of these issues that I know Plexus is going to change her life. And when I talk about the business, this gives me chills. I talk about the business opportunity really passionately because 7 months ago, we were one income family. We drive beat up cars and we have a really low military income. Anybody can look up my husband's income on the internet and know what it is. And so I am really passionate because when I left this place, we lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We got orders to England. And when I hugged my family goodbye, I told them goodbye for 5 years. We have orders for 5 years. And it was devastating to know that we weren't going to be able to afford plane tickets for 4 people to come back and visit, probably even once a year. So to be able to now be back here 2 times in a year and possibly coming back in October for a 3rd time and spending time with my nieces and my nephew, my nephews and my niece and my parents and my grandparents, like that's life-changing for me. And
our grandmother was really sick in January. And right before that, November, and she was able to get on a plane very quickly and get here. And it was huge. So when you are taking your notes right now, write that at the top of your page. put that up on your mirror. Remember that people are asking you for this. You don't know their situation, but they want this in their lives. So I think the many of us, and I can tell you, I'm saying this to you, but I have to tell myself this every day.
And I'm a mama, and you are a mama that was every day praying for something other than just being a mom. I love my babies, but I was missing that purpose. And if you knew me, you would have never known that, because I put on a face every single day, and I went out, and I was a proud Air Force wife, and I loved on my family, but it was still hard when he's gone all the time, or when your kids are your everything. They're around you constant, every single day. There was a big part of me that wanted to do something other than just be a mom, but I didn't want to give up my freedom with my children. And so this has been an incredible opportunity. There are people out there all over this world that are begging for this.
And also look for so write down, when you get off this call, write down a couple of questions that you can kind of practice, that you can keep in your mind to bring up in every conversation. One that I often ask people is, when I'm doing messaging with someone or talking to somebody that I haven't talked to in a while, is, what are you doing these days? Are you still working at blah, blah, blah? Are you still, because guess what? They're going to ask me next. Are you still a nurse? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And that is my end. And I can tell you right now, if you work more than one job, Plexus is your number one job. That's the first thing you bring up. You can tell them later you're a CPA. Right now you tell them, I'm a Plexus ambassador. Have you ever heard of it? That's your in right there to start a conversation with them. There's lots of questions like that. Like she said, just, oh, how did you end up here at the pool on Tuesday? You must stay home with your kids. That kind of things that will start that conversation.
Okay, so another thing would just be have samples on you. I just brought an example. This is something that I put together when I was going to Las Vegas. This has a brochure in it, and it has a pink drink sample, and I keep these and other things on my body everywhere I go. I'm very intentional about it. I do not just hand out my samples because that's my money, and so I always in return ask for a contact. Can you contact me this week and give me some feedback? Can I add you to my Facebook? This is gold to me, and I don't just hand them out. And the other thing was add yourself to Facebook groups. Find a mommy group, a daddy group, a group about whatever disorder that you have. Find that. My second Emerald upline shared with us last week that she met my upline in a Facebook group. She was posting. They
both have the same disorder.
She was posting about a disorder that she had in a Facebook group. And so Felicia reached out to her via instant messenger and talked to her about Plexus, and she ends up being one of her runners. So you just never know who you're going to meet, where you're going to meet those people. So the next topic.
If all you two are passionate about this, if you could add passion, then y'all could be really good.
We would just take off. I know.
Take off. There might be something to this Plexus thing for y'all.
So, okay, so I just like to, when that comes up, I mean, passion is what it is. It's not about personality. It's not about how loud you can be. I know that we have that part of it down, but let me tell you, if you are passionate about it, I have 90% of my team is nothing like me, but they have a heart of gold and they want this for their families, and that's all that really matters. So,
before Plexus, really honestly, I was that girl that was, even though I'm talkative when I get to know you, I'm still very shy. So if you met me at a party and I didn't know somebody, I'd be sitting down kind of to myself.
And I'm very insecure, very. So it's really hard for me to do anything that's like has a stigma to it. So this is kind of a challenge. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about ambassador versus customer. How do you know which way to go with them? So my rule of thumb is if you have somebody who's super skeptical about the products, push the 60-day money-back guarantee. And I know this is going to be controversial. I know Bob and I've talked about this a little bit, but this is what I do. This is what we kind of do. If this doesn't work for you, that's okay. But this is what I feel like has worked for us. If they are skeptical about the products, I push 60-day money-back guarantee. If this is somebody that's concerned about cost or that is concerned about or needs the business opportunity, or is already thinking about 3 people. If they've already told you, hey, my mom and my sister could really use this, but I'm going to try the products first, they need to go wholesale, because in 2 weeks, they're going to love their products and you're going to get them to share. So I recommend it is okay to bring up wholesale, or I call it wholesale, being an ambassador right out the gate. If you have somebody who's interested in the business opportunity, obviously that's a completely different beast, and we know that that's going to be an
always
ambassador.
Give them all of the options, but a lot of people, at least for myself, I'm 28. I don't know if I told you all that, but 28, and I live in a world with no money. I mean, we all have some money, but military families don't make a lot, but they also have a lot of other priorities. And so I know that most of them are stay-at-home moms, and they give up a lot to be able to be stay-at-home moms. And so the first question I get asked is the price.
Yeah. So the rule of thumb with this is a couple of things. One being, you run the risk when you sign people up straight ambassador that they could white line. So the goal is to add more people than drop off, right? So every single month you need to be thinking about adding more people because you're going to have some of those people that signed up for the cheapest price and don't have enough to buy their products the next month. But here's the other piece to that. From day one, if they have said the words, I can't afford this, you have got to get a paycheck in their hands. You have got to help them get at least one customer, but you want to get them enough to get their products paid for. And you've got to work with them on that and help them see. I've had a lot of people that I've just basically helped them sign people up. Like, I have talked to those people. I've gotten them signed up because the minute that happens, they see the potential. I have several people who told me they would never sell, but they wanted the products and they couldn't afford them. And I got them a couple of customers, and now I have 2 that are almost gold from that.
And I usually ask people, I talk a lot about this is not a quick fix. This is not a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. And I say, can you give me 60 to 90 days? Mm-hmm. And if I can get that commitment from them, I have no fear of signing them up as an ambassador because I know they're going to fall in love with it. Who doesn't? Mm-hmm.
So that's something that, people always ask me, like, when you're recruiting, how do you bring it up? And I always kind of know when I'm talking to that person, which way am I going to go with them based on what we're talking about. The other thing, I never, ever, ever talk about retail. It never comes out of my mouth. So if they figure it out, great. But the truth is, it's just not the best deal for them, and it's not the best deal for us. So I just make sure that I try. And at customer service, as soon as you get that person signed up, you want to give them the best customer service they've ever had in their life. I took product to somebody tonight. She's getting ready to leave on a trip, and she didn't order a product and whatever. It's her fault, but I am going to take care of her because she's a great a wholesale ambassador for me. And she orders every month for her and her husband, and it's wonderful. So just kind of keep that in mind as to, some people don't ever offer. I see these really high PV numbers, and they never offer the wholesale pricing.
If you have over $1,500 in PV, you need to check that list. If you have over $1,500 in PV, those people should be flipped to ambassadors. You have these great people that are going to continue to stay on their products. You should talk to them about getting their product cheaper or free by helping them get some more customers.
And I would also say that my scariest point in this business was it was February, and I had like 17 or 18 customers, and something like that. And I had joined in January, and my upline was trying to go Emerald and offered an incentive for new ambassadors. And so I offered that to people, and everybody took it. And I started flipping people left and right. I think I flipped like 17 people. That's how I went gold. And it scared the heck out of me. I calculated those numbers and went, how in the world am I going to get a paycheck? Like, I'm going to go from this huge commission to this piddly little number, which was great money, but it just wasn't the same. And my upline said to me, Brooke, put your head down, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and it will not be a problem. And she was right. Do not have fear in switching those people over. You will always add new customers, but you will never get to the next level. If you're just wanting $500 a month, great. Customers are great. But if you want to go diamond, if you want to be a jewel, you're going to have to build this as a business.
And your wholesale ambassadors are key to your business.
They're very important. And I always say to people, when you get someone to invest in themselves, meaning they buy a membership, that's basically what they're doing, right? If you have a membership to Sam's Club, you shop at Sam's Club. If you get someone to buy a membership, my percentage looking at it is way higher that people continue to take their products than it is of people that don't, because they've invested in it in comparison to my customers who tend to come and go. So that's that piece of it.
Okay, so we're almost done. We're just going to say, how do you contact someone? Let me give you some examples. I usually use the Hey Girl scenario. Hey girl, what are you doing? Or what are you doing for work these days? Or I'm very intentional about what I say, because I used to start conversations, and what happened was I was starting these conversations with people that I hadn't talked to in years, and they knew. They were looking at my Facebook. They knew that I was a Plexus ambassador, and they knew that I was getting ready to sell them a product, and they didn't want anything to do with it. I had a girl who I adore, who I considered a sister of mine, who lived in my home for several months, that the minute I talked to her for 3 days about her life and her job and her everything, and then I shared Plexus with her because I knew she needed these products, and she deleted and blocked my entire family because she said the only reason you contacted me was because of Plexus. And it broke my heart, but it really made me think, why?
Because that is the truth, right? We are reaching out to those people because we know they need the products and they need the business. But that is why. So if you reach out to them and say, how's all these other things? And then 3 days later say, and I want to sell you Plexus, they know. So I think, I'm not saying that that's true for everybody. There's definitely people that I start up conversation with first that I do really want to catch up with and all that. But if I really am only reaching out to them because of Plexus, I just say that.
And so I just think it can come off disingenuous. And so I use the, hey girl scenario. So, hey girl, how are you doing? I was looking at your Facebook and I love seeing all your pictures from Texas. It makes me miss home. I have just started working for this amazing company called Plexus. It's helped me to, whatever it's helped you with, a little bit of your kind of elevator speech. And then can I send you some more information? Or
if I send you, I always ask, if I send you this, would you look over it? I saw that in a video once and I love that. I think it's Timmy Ansley. She said the brain is trained to say yes to that.
And I always ask them a question. So something not an open-ended question, not something they can say yes or no to, so that we can start a conversation. The other part of that is following up. You guys, we all get crickets, okay? Just because they don't answer you. And Brooke helped me realize this. She said, if somebody asked you to sell you something or talk to you about something that you absolutely 100% knew you didn't want, what do you say? I say no. If you don't have the time right now, or you're busy, or you're thinking about other things, or you're like, oh, you know what, I might look into that, but let me get back to it next week. You usually kind of keep that message open and don't get back to it right away, right? So you have to follow up. You have to. It's really important. And there is some data behind that says between the 7th and 12th contact is 80% of when people respond.
And I can promise you, if you look at your list, you probably haven't followed up with those people more than 3 times. Most of us drop off after 3. It's just the way it is. And you think you're bugging them, you think you're annoying them. And my thing is, put that on them. You know what? If you're bugging them, they should have the gall to tell you, period. Or you just keep talking to them about it. I think I can own the fact that if I didn't want someone to talk to me anymore, I would just tell them, please stop messaging me. Period. And if they don't, then you have every opportunity, every reason to continue to message them.
And
maybe they're just on the fence.
And if somebody does tell me no, I give them that courtesy, but I also say, okay, so if you're not interested, but you're my friend, here's how you can help me. You could like my Facebook posts. You can share it with someone else. Maybe you could give me a name or a contact of somebody that could use some energy or blood sugar or whatever. And then I also talk about, I always throw that little business piece in there because I can tell you I have an ambassador on my team who said no. And I said, okay, well, do you know anybody that is looking for an extra income? And I said, I'm not talking about hobby money. I'm talking about real money. And I put in there what I make. And I said, this is something that I've done in 7 months. And she said, I think I'd like to know more information about that. Signed up the next day. Okay. So you just never know. And you've got to give everybody the entire piece because most people I come across with that I share Plexus to have never heard about it, or think automatically that it is a quick fix weight loss program. Yeah. And we are so much more than that. And you know that, but they do not know what they do not know.
I had a long conversation with a girl that wasn't interested. And then I started asking about her business. How can I support you? Can I post on my Facebook about your business? What can I do for you? And somehow it got back to sleep. And she's like, these products do anything for sleep? So just keeping that dialogue going, letting their walls come down, helping them to just realize that you're really just wanting to to have a conversation with them really helps. Okay, so common objections, real quick, because I know this is going to come up for people. What do you say when someone says they can't afford it? What do you say when someone says I don't have enough time? Okay, so I can't afford it. I talk to people about what it really looks like. I talk to them about their vices, and I also send them videos of the funny videos of like, do you eat this candy bar? Do you drink this soda pop? This is how much this costs.
I was somebody that did not drink soda, did not eat candy, unless it was my kids, and did not, I didn't do all those extra things because we couldn't afford it. But I can tell you I have split my grocery bill in half because I don't eat nearly as much as I used to, and I'm not binge eating. I'm not doing those things. And when we go out to eat, we purchase one meal instead of two. And there's so many things that has helped me cut down.
So I just help them see kind of that stuff. Now, this is an investment. We all know that. You have to want to invest in yourself. And then let's see, the common objection about I don't have time for this business. I help them to see that I'm willing to help them. Like I'm not going to run this business for them, of course, but I tell them I will do it. Like you give me the contact and let me help you reach out to them. And I do the work for them in the beginning. And when they start to see that money come in, they start to see that it's easy. I have people tell me all the time, man, it really is easy. People just want this stuff. I'm like, yes, you just have to get them over the fear and over the hump. So
her runner, who's a senior gold ambassador, has 3 jobs on top of Plexus. Okay.
And she tells me every day she doesn't have time for Plexus. So I just know that if you just continue to believe in them, show them, the biggest problem is we've been told a long time ago not to believe in ourselves, that this cannot happen, that we can't have it all. And so just continuing to instill that belief in people. And if you have common objections, getting someone else involved in the conversation to kind of help them see the difference. What if it won't work for me? Oh, let me get you into touch with so-and-so. She's got the same stuff going on as you. And she's had really good results.
Three-way messages with people are gold to us. If I have a breastfeeding mama, even though I've breastfed a baby, I didn't do it on Plexus. I immediately link her up with Brooke and we talk about it because
just builds trust.
Just like with Brooke, I talked to Brooke about Plexus. So I was blue in the face and I wanted to strangle her. But it took Shannon coming over and saying, hey, let's do this together for her to jump on. So 3 people, an extra contact is crucial.
Something else too, when people say, well, I don't want to, share my story, blah, blah, blah. I ask people, okay, well, I'm trying to grow this as a business. Is there somebody that I could reach out to that you think would be interested? And then when I get them interested, I say, okay, do you want me to add them under you or under me? And that's what happened with me. Shannon was one of like 4 or 5 people that I was sending her direction that I finally went, okay, this is stupid. So that's kind of the gist of kind of common objections. And then one little thing that I would say, especially as far as objections or just time goes, is try to make it simple for yourself. One thing that I do that I really like is I keep videos in my phone, a list of a video of each product that I really like and a video of each objection that I've found, and I keep them in my phone so that as soon as somebody asks me about it, if I'm busy, I just send that right over to them. And then I give those to my ambassadors so that they have something really quick in case I'm not available to them. So that is kind of our quick and dirty. Sorry, I know we always over talk, but quick and dirty version of all of this. But we'd like to open it up for questions if you have anything specific that you want.
And we will, if y'all, I'm going to keep everybody muted, and if you'll just unmute yourself one at a time to ask a question. I wanted to say something, while everybody's still listening on the recording too. Something I forgot to say at the very first of this. This meeting is not sanctioned by Plexus Worldwide. We are independent ambassadors of the company and may have forgot to tell you a couple of things about it at the very early part of it. Any statements about the product have not been evaluated by the FDA. Always consult a physician before starting this or any other supplementation, diet, or exercise program. Plexus products do not diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual results with the products or any implications made about the business, your results may vary. So,
very true.
Yeah, very true. So anyway, go ahead if anybody's got it. And again, girls, before we close later on, thank y'all very, very much. These girls are my sidelines. Y'all all know what that means. They completely gave up their time for this. I don't know that either of you are y'all even on Team All In. Brooke, you're on the Team All In page, I saw, but
which team?
That's Rainey Anderson's team. She's the diamond.
I don't think I'm on that page.
Yeah, it tagged you today on her page, which is strange. And I said, well, I'm going to look and see if Ansley did it. It didn't tag Ansley. So
That's funny. I don't know. I don't know that team name.
but yeah, so they have nothing to gain from this except for learning to speak publicly, and they're going to get a lot more experience with that because I would imagine that sometime next summer, probably y'all will be seeing a lot more of these two girls. So
we love sharing what we know. We wouldn't be here without our amazing teams. We want to make sure we say that. They're incredible. They work so hard. And we just want everyone to know that they can do this. Like I'm nothing, I'm nothing other than a mom and a wife and somebody who has a big dream to change lives. So what questions do y'all have? Nothing.
not everybody at once.
Know everything. That's awesome. So everyone is going to be a diamond in a month or two.
I'll ask one. Kind of going forward a little bit from recruiting, that next first step, what do y'all like to do to start people out and following up with new ambassadors and training them? What's the first thing you like to do in order to get them, if they're going to be runners, what do you like to do to get them to hit the ground running?
So regardless if they're a runner or not, we always have them post their why as soon as possible. And we do something that I learned from Timmy Ansley on a video that she learned from Chris and Susie McCall, which is called hijacking. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but this has changed our business. I called Brooke and said, hey, I love this. What do you think? And we ran with it, and it's been super successful for us. So as soon as somebody on your team post their why on their Facebook page, we, instead of welcoming every single member right away when they join, we wait till they post their why, and then we welcome them on our team page with that says, hey, Susie posted their why, go and hijack it. And what we do is everybody on our team page goes over to Susie's Facebook page and posts a short testimony underneath her why. The reason for this is it creates excitement, it boosts their Facebook posts, and it keeps that Facebook post showing up in other people's news feeds, and it also gets multiple testimonies out there. So Susie's testimony might be about weight loss, but Beth's might be about sleep, and Brooke's might be about, a disorder or something like that. And so they're able to see, hey, Plexus isn't just about weight loss. It's about all of these different things. It's helping all of these people. And it also gives your new ambassador a huge boost of confidence and a team network. And that's really important to us.
I think one of the biggest things that holds people back from jumping into the business is fear of that they're all alone. They don't know the products, or they don't know the business, or they don't know anything, because we didn't know anything when we started. I learned everything that I have learned from the very beginning from what she told me, but videos. I don't even have the new ambassador kit, y'all. I have the old kit. I never even got one of those fancy cards and all the wonderful stuff.
Neither one of us opened ours.
I did an event the other day and opened that box for the first time. I learned from videos. I learned from researching and reading. But the truth is, by building that network of people around them, they have a lot less fear because they know they can ask those questions.
I think that's a terrific idea. And that has been kind of a push lately. I know our team's done it. I think I've seen that kind of mentioned in Team All In and some of the other team pages that I've seen lately too. And it may be why this last month, some of the new people that we've been adding to our team, instead of seeing them get 100, 120 PV, they've been getting $200, $250, $300 PV in their very first month, because they're selling Edge, they're selling Block. They get a couple people buy a bag of Slim from them, that sort of thing, simply because they got that initial buzz. And that's true. They really trick the algorithm by getting everybody in there, and it gets things really rolling for them. I think that is terrific. I think that needs to be our big push.
People really see, hey, she's not all by herself. These people love Plexus too, especially there's a lot of places that, they say there's 1% of the people know about Plexus. So when you're talking about these people that are in different towns that maybe have never heard of Plexus, it's a big deal to have 15 people on your Facebook page supporting you, because everybody wants to be part of the next best thing. Even if they say they don't, they're going, hey, what on earth are they talking about?
I think it also when you're on there as a commentator, it will link you back to that when someone comments. And so you'll see, like, we always kind of pay attention to this, because when you have a newbie and somebody says, what is that? Or maybe they hate on it and they say, oh, one more of these things. It gives you the opportunity to comment back on that and help support them.
So we have a question on here. I can't unmute myself, but I'd love to ask if they could share a list of their favorite videos to send people.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So, let's see, as far as, products go, or like videos of training.
One of the big videos that I send as far as products go is the Probiotic 101 from Rachel Rogers.
Yes.
I have a lot of people that ask or don't know about a probiotic, and that's a really good go-to video for me.
Yeah, I think that's a really sorry. Better? Okay, there was a video that I watched in the very beginning that was something about it wasn't fast start goal, but it was something about going fast or fast goal. I think it was called fast gold. And it wasn't, and by the way, neither of us fast started. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, there was a good video about that. And basically one of the things I learned, two of the things, was she said in that video, I don't tell people that these products are really great and I really like them. I tell people these products will change your life.
And that's where the passion comes in.
Yeah. I don't tell people that this business is great. I've made some money and I'm able to, help pay my bills, and you should try it. It's really great. I tell people you will be blown away by this compensation plan. Let me show you how quickly I can put $200 in your hands. Like that kind of excitement and energy. And I think that video really changed things.
If I could show you how to get your products for free, would you like to know how?
Asking those questions, I think that holds us back a lot when we don't. We kind of underestimate people sometimes. I can tell you the people that are the most successful on my team tend to be the people that told me no way, no how.
And I want to say, you do not have to be like us. There are I think that I've heard a lot of people say, but you're so loud, or you're so bold, or you're so
you're energetic.
I didn't start this way, and I need you to hear that from me.
And we're not like this every day.
Do you know how many people shut me down, including my own family, on a regular basis? But I just decided that this was going to be different. If I needed people to know why I felt this good. If I didn't truly, honestly feel this good and have so many changes in my life, I wouldn't be talking about it. But because it's just something that flows, because it's easy, because it's something, and it's true. It's just honest truth. But I don't want people to think that you have to be someone that is really comfortable in being loud and being talkative. Be you. Don't ever change who you are. Don't, if you change your voice on your Facebook posts, or
if all you're doing is copying what other people are putting and not being yourself, people can tell. They know that something has completely changed instead of you being an authentic version of this this process. And I would say also, if you're sitting here going, my business is stagnant. I don't know what I'm doing differently. How could they do this and I didn't? I asked myself that this month, because I struggled this month, y'all. I think I was exhausted from growth, but I was just kind of stagnant, and I didn't push myself the way I normally do. And one thing I asked myself was, what am I doing? What's different? So if you are in that place today, what I want you to do is I want you to look at the list of things that we've shared. Look at the list of the things that, if Bob is your upline or whoever is your upline has taught you to do, and go through that list one by one and ask yourself, are you doing that? Because I think what you'll find, and I know I found this when I asked that question of myself, you're not. You might want to, but you haven't tried that tactic, and there's a level of fear in there. So just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off and try it, and after you've done all those things, then you can go back and say, okay, I tried it all, and I'm still here. But the likelihood is you're not going to be there anymore.
So I'm going to answer this question really quick. We're not going to take the time to post it on a team page, but what I can tell you is I'll give you a few names, and anything that we've watched is something that you can grab any day by typing in Plexus YouTube. That is all we've done. Mm-hmm. Tara Castaneda, one of our favorites. Rachel Rogers, Emily Roberts, Sonia Dudley.
I like them all.
They're all really great, but we don't have any favorites. We just watch them on a regular basis.
Y'all, so let me tell you another thing. I don't ever get in my car and listen to the radio anymore, ever. I always have a video on my Bluetooth. I just watched a diamond panel. Not watch. I don't watch and drive. I listen and drive. I listened to a diamond panel, and I've stopped and started it over the last 2 days because I'm, busy. But every single day, whatever I'm doing, whenever I have time, when I'm getting ready in the morning, my favorites, I just save to my phone. I just save them in a little folder. So I have them when I get a new ambassador and they're having a hard day, I send them one of those videos because I know they're good because I've watched them and I think they're good. I've saved it. So.
Our Diamond Uplines, 2 of them are Rachel Neagle and Becky Page, and they have wonderful information. Becky Page was a counselor, and so she has a lot of good stuff about just how to focus on yourself. And then Rachel Neagle is really into ingredients, and she has some really great information out there about our products and what they have in them and what they can do for you.
And pay attention when you're watching videos. It'll give you some suggestions of videos like that or videos by that same person. And just, make a little list. Save. You can click on YouTube. You can click save on those videos, or on Facebook. Save those videos and go back and watch them. You just have to be intentional about it. You just have to find the time to kind of put it on in the background so that you're seeping in that information.
You have other questions?
Y'all are so awesome.
I think you are. In fact, I'm getting some messages, even private messages here about what a terrific job y'all are doing. I really am.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we appreciate you guys.
I follow on to what you were saying earlier. You're talking about, it's funny, you mentioned being kind of down this month. If it helps any of y'all to feel any better, because it did help somebody else about this earlier today, a lot of people are kind of down this month. This is my third summer in a row.
We heard that there were no jewel promotions this month. As of yesterday, there might have changed today, but usually you come in one after the other, right?
Yeah.
When you didn't see that this month, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, this is my third summer in a row, and they stink. My summers are not good at all, and I've just got kind of learned to not really accept that, but just to learn to work at it even harder. I was telling somebody in my on this meeting now earlier today, just go back to your why, and because if your why is passionate, you'll remember it, and it will remind you and remember the things that these girls said. There's people out there that need it. They still need to hear it 12 months out of the year. Sure, people are lazy and they're doing their crazy summer stuff and they're busy and they may not want to talk to you, or they're just not around, or whatever it is that's causing summer to be the doldrums. But be consistent, keep it going, because you never know when that one person who might be a diamond in the making is going to see.
Absolutely. You just never know. It only takes one. So, yes, about the question about Triplex, I am always talking about Triplex. I don't really talk about individual products. I always talk about them kind of as a group and then adding on other things.
If somebody absolutely says, I don't want to take that, then we talk about other things. But I
always start with that.
I don't think I have one person out of our 215 ambassadors, but on top of that, I think all of my customers, none of them have ever not taken a Triplex.
Yeah. But I will say, if you guys need a pick-me-up, this month, go test drive your Lexus. We did that today together. Just go to the Lexus dealership and sit in that seat and think about it and dream big. My challenge for my team next month is going to be, I'm going to have everybody write their why and show it to me, because they told us to do that, right? And none of us did, or most of us didn't. I want everybody, if you're on this call, when you have 5 minutes to sit down, write it out, make it beautiful so that when you want to look at it every day, and remember, but if it's your kids, if it's your husband, if it's you, whatever, if it's not wanting to go to that job, put a picture of that boss up there that you don't want to see anymore, or being able to go to Hawaii with your family, or whatever.
Please remember that we are just like you. We have days. We share each other's belief on a regular basis.
Yeah.
We are sisters, so we fight. Okay, y'all. We need you to know this, that 2 weeks out of the four weeks of the month,
for sure,
we're not talking. We love each other, and we always come back to that, but we still have struggles. We still have days where our belief is down. We have days where we feel like everybody is relying on us, and we're just learning this business. Neither one of us have ever owned anything, any kind of a business on our own, and we're learning.
Neither of us have a degree in business or anything. I will say, I probably do these calls because it reminds me. It reminds me of what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Like, teaching it is the best way to learn it. And honestly, it just reminds me, I can't get up here and say all these things and then go back and not do any of it. So it keeps me accountable. Somebody asked, do you ever reach out to your inactive? Absolutely. Especially if it was for a reason, like maybe the product, they felt like the product didn't work and we come out with this new upgraded product, or maybe it's because of cost and we run a flash sale or something. Definitely reach out to those people, check in with them, every single one of them should know that we have a new product out. You just never know. You never know where they're going to be in their life.
I have an ambassador that she was on my dream list, and I reached out to her right away, and it took 3 months of conversation to get her to join my team. She did. She ordered her product, and 2 days later, she called me and said her husband got transferred and she wanted to quit. And I didn't even know how to do that, call customer service and get somebody's product returned. And she decided to stick with it, but I never heard from her. She, for 3 more months, wouldn't answer my phone calls, my messages at all. Then I got a message from her one day out of the blue that said, because I always followed up with her on a weekly to monthly basis. I was following up with her, and she never would respond. And then she said all of a sudden, hey, I need some more of that pink drink. And I was like, what? So I reached back out to her. I called her on the phone. We talked a little bit, and then I got silence again for another 2 months. Finally, I was reaching out to her on a regular basis. She said, hey, if you can make money with this, I've got to be able to make money with it too. I'm ready to run with this business. And she's halfway to gold, y'all. So yes, always reach out to those.
Always follow up. Always stay consistent. That's the hardest part. And keep it simple. If you're struggling with that, make a list. Put a whiteboard up, put a check mark by those people when you've talked to them, pick 5 people a day, whatever it is. Just try to find a way that you can stay consistent. I think consistency and intentionality are the keys.
If you're not reaching out to, I will say at least 3 people, if you're not reaching out to at least 3 people a day and every day, at least 5 days a week, you're not being consistent. And that is, you can reach out to 1, but you're going to grow at a very slow pace. I think 3 to 5 at a minimum. Every day, 5 days a week is really essential to your business if you want to grow a business rapidly.
And if there aren't any other questions, I'll leave you with this. This has been a big kind of lump in my throat lately because I think even I have been in this place. Do you treat this like a hobby or do you treat this like a business? If you're on this call, you want this to be a business because that's why you're spending your time doing this. But are you treating it like a business? If this was a brick and mortar business that you had opened, and you couldn't pay the electricity bill, or the sandwich stuff didn't come in on the truck and you didn't have enough bread, or you had to go do payroll, would you do it? Would you get up and get those things done? Or would you say, I just don't want to, and let that business fall apart and have the doors closed? I think because it's not in our face, it's not a brick and mortar business, sometimes we forget that we created this. We built this from the ground up, and we don't have options. This is something that you treat as, you call it your business, you have to actually treat it like a business. And it's something that I know I'm working on daily because my life is very busy, and it's easy for me to say, tomorrow I'll send those messages. But I'm not going to get where I want to be if I do that. So do you treat it like a hobby or do you treat it like a business? And please treat it like a business because it's worth it. And I cannot wait to see all of you in Hawaii. I can't wait to see all of you at convention next year sitting next to us in the jewel seats. I just know we're all going to be together, and I'm just thrilled to have been a part of this with y'all's team.
Please add us on Facebook. We love to be your friends. We message us if you have a rough day or you need something or you have a question. We're more than happy to try to pitch in where we can. And just know that we're just like you. We're learning every single day. And we're reaching out to our sidelines and our power partners and our uplines and borrowing belief and learning from every single person.
And as we learn, we'll try to make more videos and share the wealth because we have learned a lot from others. And so we want to pay that forward. And trust me, nothing we've learned has not come from someone else. So we're grateful to all those that came before us that have taught us what's helped us grow our businesses.
Thank you all very much again. They're definitely two of my favorite gems. I'm really enjoying watching y'all, and want to continue to watch y'all and watch y'all grow and watch your teams grow. And I look forward to getting to know some of y'all's teams, because they must be some pretty incredible people too.
So, they really are. They're amazing.
With that,